After Noah wasn't a match to help his illness, who's next? Emmerdale spoilers follow from Tuesday's episode, March 18. Emmerdale has confirmed who Joe Tate is targeting next. Joe returned to the village at Christmas, exhibiting some mysterious symptoms that he has been hiding from his family. It was later revealed that Joe has chronic kidney disease and is being treated by the dodgy Dr. Crowley. Joe is on the search for a kidney donor and first targeted half-brother Noah, taking him to a private hospital when he was unconscious. However, Noah turned out to not be a match. Meanwhile, Manpreet Sharma is currently being blackmailed by someone threatening to ruin her medical career by releasing OnlyFans-style images she previously shared online. Tonight, Dr. Crowley paid Joe a visit, telling him he still believes his best chance is to go abroad to look for a donor. However, Joe insisted that it has to be a relative. In the surgery, Manpreet revealed to Ella that she'd agreed to meet her blackmailer and hand over £5,000 to them after receiving a text. When Manpreet went to meet her blackmailer, she was shocked to see Joe there. But he claimed to know nothing about the blackmail and insisted it was just a coincidence he was there. After Manpreet received a text now demanding £10,000, Joe offered to help her, saying it's his fault they're after more money since they must have seen him with her. Joe then offered to pay off the blackmailers, saying he's got the money to do it and what he really needs are friends in the village. Once Joe left Manpreet's, it was revealed that Dr. Crowley has been sending the texts demanding the money on Joe's behalf. The next day, Manpreet met her blackmailer, but she secretly had Joe with her. She asked the man why he was doing this to her, and he said she just made it easy by putting herself out there. Manpreet then handed over the money, and the man deleted all the photos he had of her after Joe told him he was being recorded. Back at home, Joe told Manpreet she didn't have to pay him back any of the money, causing her to say if there was anything he ever needed, she'd help him. Joe eventually told her that his granddad Frank had a genetic condition that he kept to himself, AAT, alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, which causes lung and liver problems as well as heart issues. He then said he has been diagnosed with the same condition and any of Frank's living blood relatives could also have it, which includes Caleb. Joe claimed that because the pair don't get along he can't broach the subject with him, and he doesn't want Caleb to know he's ill. Manpreet offered to talk to Caleb, but Joe insisted that wouldn't work. Instead, Joe wanted her to obtain a blood sample from Caleb so he could have it tested privately. When Manpreet said she could get struck off for doing such a thing, Joe told her not to worry and that he'd think of something else. Later, Joe spoke to Dr. Crowley and confirmed that Caleb is his next target for a donor. In a gripping episode of Emmerdale that aired on Tuesday, March 22, the stakes were raised even higher for Joe Tate as his desperate search for a kidney donor took a shocking turn. After his half-brother Noah Dingle turned out not to be a match, Joe's health crisis has left him scrambling to find another potential donor. But with time running out and his condition worsening, Joe's next move reveals just how far he's willing to go to save his own life, even if it means manipulating those around him and crossing ethical boundaries. The episode also delved deeper into the ongoing blackmail plot involving Manpreet Sharma, whose life has been turned upside down by an anonymous tormentor threatening to expose her past. As the two storylines intertwine, the tension in the village reaches new heights, with secrets, lies, and desperate alliances shaping the fates of Emmerdale's residents. Joe Tate's health crisis, a race against time. Joe Tate's return to Emmerdale at Christmas was shrouded in mystery, with the character exhibiting strange symptoms that he kept hidden from his family. It was later revealed that Joe is suffering from chronic kidney disease, a life-threatening condition that requires a kidney transplant. Under the care of the dubious Dr. Crowley, Joe has been exploring every possible avenue to find a donor, even resorting to underhanded tactics. Joe's first target was his half-brother, Noah Dingle. In a shocking move, Joe took Noah to a private hospital for testing while he was unconscious, hoping to find a match. However, the results were devastating. Noah was not a suitable donor. This setback has left Joe even more desperate as his health continues to deteriorate. During a visit from Dr. Crowley, Joe was advised to consider looking abroad for a donor as his chances of finding a match locally seemed slim. However, Joe insisted that the donor must be a relative, emphasizing the importance of a genetic match. Sets the stage for his next move as he shifts his focus to another family member, Caleb Milligan. Manpreet Sharma's blackmail nightmare. While Joe's health crisis unfolds, Manpreet Sharma finds herself embroiled in a separate but equally harrowing ordeal. For weeks, Manpreet has been the target of a blackmailer threatening to release compromising images from her past, which could ruin her medical career. Despite closing her OnlyFans-style account, the blackmailer has continued to torment her, demanding increasingly large sums of money in exchange for their silence. In Tuesday's episode, Manpreet confided in Ella about the blackmail, revealing that she had agreed to meet the blackmailer and hand over £5,000. However, the situation took an unexpected turn when Joe Tate showed up at the meeting instead of the anonymous blackmailer. Joe claimed to know nothing about the blackmail, insisting that his presence was merely a coincidence. But as the episode progressed, it became clear that Joe's involvement was far from innocent. After Manpreet received another text demanding £10,000, Joe offered to help her, suggesting that the blackmailers had upped their demands because they saw him with her. He offered to pay off the blackmailers himself, claiming that he had the money and that what he really needed were friends in the village. This seemingly selfless act was revealed to be part of a larger scheme, as it was later uncovered that Dr. Crowley had been sending the blackmail texts on Joe's behalf. A twisted alliance, Joe and Manpreet's deal. The next day, Manpreet arranged another meeting with the blackmailer, this time with Joe secretly by her side. Confronting the man, Manpreet demanded to know why he was targeting her. The blackmailer callously replied that she had made it easy by putting herself out there, a cruel reminder of the vulnerability that had led to her current predicament. With Joe's help, Manpreet handed over the money, and the blackmailer deleted the compromising photos after being told he was being recorded. Back at home, Joe assured Manpreet that she didn't have to repay him, further solidifying her trust in him. Grateful for his help, Manpreet told Joe that if there was ever anything he needed, she would be there for him. This moment of gratitude provided Joe with the perfect opportunity to reveal his true intentions. He confided in Manpreet about his grandfather Frank's genetic condition, alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, AAT, which causes lung, liver, and heart problems. Joe explained that he had been diagnosed with the same condition and that any of Frank's living blood relatives, including Caleb Milligan, could also carry the gene. Joe admitted that he couldn't approach Caleb directly due to their strained relationship and his desire to keep his illness a secret. He then made a shocking request. He asked Manpreet to obtain a blood sample from Caleb so that it could be tested privately. Horrified by the ethical implications, Manpreet refused, warning Joe that she could lose her medical license for such an act. Joe reluctantly backed down, but it was clear that his desperation was far from over. Caleb Milligan, Joe's next target. Later in the episode, Joe confirmed to Dr. Crowley that Caleb Milligan was his next target for a potential donor. This revelation sets the stage for a high-stakes storyline, as Joe's determination to save his own life puts him on a collision course with Caleb. The tension between the two characters has been building for months, and Joe's latest scheme threatens to push their already fraught relationship to the breaking point. Caleb, who has his own secrets and struggles, is unlikely to take kindly to Joe's manipulative tactics. As Joe's health continues to decline, the question remains, will he succeed in convincing Caleb to help him, or will his desperation lead to even more devastating consequences? Themes of desperation and moral ambiguity. This week's episodes of Emmerdale explore themes of desperation, moral ambiguity, and the lengths people will go to when faced with life-or-death situations. Joe Tate's actions, while driven by his fight for survival, raise difficult questions about ethics and the boundaries of personal responsibility. Similarly, Manpreet's ordeal highlights the vulnerability of individuals in the digital age, where past mistakes can come back to haunt them in unexpected and devastating ways. As the storylines continue to unfold, viewers can expect more twists, turns, and emotional moments. With Joe's health hanging in the balance and Manpreet's future still uncertain, the stage is set for a dramatic and heart-wrenching chapter in the lives of Emmerdale's residents.